what I can say, maybe I will say a few words about where I'm coming from to meet someone. Um, so the first thing, I feel that my main intention in the things that I do in life is exploring and understanding the concept of improving quality of life, which essentially means that I dedicated my own time. It's now more than 16 years that I don't really work in a normal job to understand what does it mean quality of life. I saw a few years ago an article that was shared that the UN they published about where is the countries with the highest quality of life, and number one was Finland. And then I saw another piece of content that says where is the highest suicide rate in the world, and number one was Finland. And then I was thinking about it. This is quite weird that people think if the highest quality of life is in the place where the highest suicide rate, so what does it mean quality of life? And essentially, quality of life is something that is not something that we can measure because it's a personal perspective. I saw people living in very high poverty, like in the villages in Thailand, and they were the happiest people that I ever met in my life. And so it got me very confused. Also, it very challenged my own basis because I came from business, I had money. At the time that I visited this village, I could barely basically take the money that I had in my pocket and buy the village. And still, those people were happier than most of the people that I know. So this sent me to this journey. At that point, I couldn't call it quality of life. The reason I started to call it quality of life is because my teacher, the monk who just passed away, uh, asked a question in one of the workshops that he was leading, and he asked, "What are you doing here?" And then everybody was mumbling, "I came to fix this, I came to heal this, I have these problems." And at the end of the day, he says, "You all coming to improve your quality of life." And it suddenly clicked that every given moment, every human being, whatever he is doing, is trying to improve his quality of life. And the second thing that clicked, that many of the things that we do are not actually improving our quality of life. So I'm doing something that my system, my body, my mind believes that is good for me, but not necessarily so good for me. But essentially, it's because I'm trying to improve quality of life. So let's say I have a lot of stress. Let's say drinking alcohol will solve it. And everybody who drinks alcohol will tell you, if you have a lot of stress, drink alcohol and it will solve it. Just the issue that maybe the next day you have hangover and then the problems come back. So you didn't really improve your quality of life on the bigger picture, but on the moment to moment, you helped yourself. You drink alcohol and you're feeling better. So then it pushed me into this journey of trying to figure out what is actually means improving quality of life. And so this is where I'm coming from. And the second thing, my my attitude towards all of these things is a study, is a research. So I study about myself, how can I improve my quality of life, and then when I meet someone, I'm trying to be like the best helper for that person to research how he can improve his quality of life. So the basis of all of this means that at every given moment I don't know anything, and we start again. So let's say even if I tell you you have to go and jump 5 times every day, and that will give you a lot of energy, and then you can do better business. And then you jump 5 times every day, and it doesn't help you. Okay, I don't see it as a failure. I see it as like, okay, this modality doesn't work. We look for another modality. Or let's say I tell you to jump 5 times, and you come after 3 days, and you will tell me, I think it's really stupid. I couldn't do it. And so, okay, so understand that this modality does not work for you because you're feeling uncomfortable to do it. So we need to research another modality. But the idea is that it's not like this is how it works and this is what you need to do and now everything is okay. And so it's a constant research. And what I try to do is to help people to do this research. Um, and from the same concept, but another perspective to it is that I feel that if you can do if you can become a good scientist that does like the best research on his life, so whatever problems that will arise in the future of your journey, you will be able to find ways to investigate it, to stay curious, to find solutions for your challenges. And from the other perspective, when you are not good scientists, so how do you behave? You have a headache, you go to the doctor. The doctor tells you what's your problem and what's the solution. But you don't really develop because you're just following other people's instructions and you're not really connected to what's really going on inside of you. And you can keep going to the hospital every 2 weeks and to say that you have problems with your heart. But actually you have stress. And if you don't learn to research, you don't understand that having stress feels like having a heart attack sometimes. But you have nothing in your heart, and no doctor in the world can fix it because it's something else. So you not being able to even identify what's going on inside of you, and then for sure nothing will change. So doing this research and learning to become the scientist, I think this is the basis of this work. So I'll share that I'm holding this kind of two different concepts that help me to navigate this journey. And one of the concepts, I called it the rules of the game. And basically it says there is a game. Every game have rules and principles. If you don't understand the rules and the principles of the game, don't be surprised that you don't enjoy playing the game. The game is life. The rules and the principles are concepts that defines the way life works. And when I'm saying that define it, it means that it always will be like this. It's not 90%. It's not maybe. It's not different if you're Jewish, Muslim, Christian, or Buddhist. It's not different if you're black or white, or you're a woman or a man. These concepts will work always. It's like the absolute rules of reality. Now, when I'm saying this, I know that it can be a little bit triggering to say this. Like now, me sitting here, I'm telling you that I know the rules and how everything works, and this is the only way it works. That's not my point. My point that I believe that there are certain things that this concept applies to them, and if we'll understand those things, it will help me to improve the quality of life. Meaning that if I believe that the rule is like this, but actually it's like this, so when I will live life, I will have conflicts. Those conflicts is the points where I don't enjoy the game, meaning I'm suffering in the game. And improving quality of life is essentially pointing to let go of suffering, to be outside of the realm of suffering. Whatever at the moment the word suffering means to you, because we can even ask what is suffering. Yeah? And when I give this example, so one good example that I can give is this concept. You see, it's always working. This thing, they call it gravity. It's always working. And every time it works the same. And if you think about it, it sounds okay, it's pretty ridiculous. You don't think that there is a life outside of gravity. So you don't try to, like if you would believe that gravity does not exist, you will break things, you will fall down, you will hurt yourself. But because you're so much believing in this concept, so you don't have a fight with this concept. And when did you learn about this concept? When you were 1 year old, when you were trying to school, you already started to study about gravity. It took you about 2.5, 3 years to be a good gravity student. Then you can walk and run and you don't fall every time you try to stand up. And so this is one of the rules of this life that we're having. Yeah? And I don't think that someone will think I'm crazy when I'm saying this is always working. And so the first point is there are things that are always working, such as gravity. And what I'm claiming there is more than that. There is other things. I'll give one concept that maybe can help us to understand it on more mental, spiritual level, is the concept of impermanence. The concept of impermanence basically says something very simple. The only constant thing in this reality is the change, meaning that things are always in a state of change, if it's mental concepts, emotional concepts, or physical concepts. And so if I developed an attachment to these glasses, yeah, oh, I really love them, they're so beautiful, this is my glasses, don't touch my glasses, I really like them, and I hold them very strong, yeah, if at some point a change will happen, meaning that this will be taken away from me, I now I have wounds because I had an attachment and this thing was taken away from me, and now I have what we call attachment wounds. Because when things are changing, I have wounds related to them. And so these attachment wounds are a big part of our suffering. But even that we understand that things are changing all the time, we still have wounds from things that are changing. You see, it's a little bit irrational. If I know that things will change, why do I get hurt when they get changed? And so sometimes this understanding of those rules can help us to navigate life because things are changing. Other people's life will change, our relations to other people. My friend is changing and is not interesting for me anymore. Even more difficult, I'm changing and I don't want to hear all the conversations that I used to be very comfortable taking part of them. So my social circles are not working for me anymore because I'm going through a change. I don't like to get negative information all the time through my head, and so I don't want to hear news in the media anymore. But everywhere I go, everybody is listening to news, and so now I have problem going to meet people, and so and I want to meet these people. And okay, you see how many challenges we can have in life just because everything is changing all the time, and we don't know how to handle the change, how to accept the changes, how to learn from the changes. So this is a concept for a spiritual mental idea that is part of the rules of the game, and we can use it to understand life. I will say in this point that we can use this concept in two ways. One, philosophically, we can talk about the rules of the game, or the other way is, what are you suffering from? And then when you say, what is your challenge, we can see what kind of rules that you don't apply that can help you to navigate this challenge and to help you to understand why it's difficult for you to sit next to your friends now that it always was very easy, but now it's challenging, let's say. So this can be a therapeutic modality and also a philosophical discussion, these two sides. To close it with one last example, which I think can be interesting, is the question, is justice right and wrong? Yeah, justice, the court system, let's say, the justice, the laws of the country, so are part of the rules of the game. And when you think about it, you can see that justice is not part of the rules of the game. It's a perspective. Maybe for one person, I believe this is right, the rest believe it's wrong. Or I'm part of a country and there is rules in this country, and some people don't follow the rules. So if they don't follow the rules, it means it's not the rules of the game, it's the rules of the country. Okay, so why understanding this is important? Because let's say you are a justice warrior, you're fighting for justice. Now, being a justice warrior, you can very easily see how you can have a lot of suffering because of that. You can have anger about other people, you can have disappointment, you develop a lot of expectations from the world that are not being met because not everybody follow the same type of justice that you follow, and so on and so on and so on. So following justice means that we'll bring with him, with this concept, some level of suffering. Okay, at this point I will say that I'm not against justice. I understand for an organization to operate, a country, we develop rules and things like this. So it's not me being an anarchist now, but me being a justice warrior and not being aware to that, and then complain that I'm not sleeping good at night, and then thinking I need to go to a doctor to take anti-anxiety pills. You see, this path can lead us to a very desperate lifestyle. I'm not saying that I should give up on my truth or what I believe is right and wrong. I'm just saying it's the way I'm relating to it can change. And then when someone is not following the same rules that I'm following, maybe I can understand he's just a different human being. And maybe I can find different ways to deal with this. So understanding the rules of the game can help me play the game, again, if my intention is improving quality of life. If your intention is not related to improving quality of life, so you might not find the rules of the game helpful because they might tell you to do things that are not aligned with what you want. So the purpose is improving quality of life. So what is the challenge? The challenge is in the form of the question, what is the difference between reaction and response? I will explain. So if let's say someone hits me, a reaction will look like this. So someone hit me and immediately automatically I'm reacting. Yes? I'm doing something. Someone says something, I'm jumping. My mother calls me, I'm nervous. Okay? This is the reaction. A response is then when someone hits me, and then I'm kind of starting to react, but I can hold my reaction, and I can observe my thoughts about it. I can use all my knowledge and wisdom and my life experience, and then I choose to do this. So in a reaction, there is like an animal reaction. There is no me choosing or understanding the situation and navigating it. In a response, I can use all my life experience. I can use the rules of the game. I can use all the teachings that I have, and so on and so on. And when you look at it, the response can be the same as the reaction. So let's say my reaction was this, and now my response will be this. I can choose this. So the difference is actually that there is me, there is like someone here that have some kind of authority about what's happening, that can navigate the situation to the place where I want to navigate it. Does it mean that my response is better than my reaction? No, not always. Sometimes my instinct is better than my thinking. I'm not saying. But I have the option to choose. And when I have the option to choose, I can upgrade and improve and optimize my way of being. And the most common thing is that, how many times someone says something to us, we are reacting to it, and then 10 minutes later I'm saying, why did I say this? I better I was quiet, and now I created a bigger problem, and now I need to apologize, and all of this drama that is happening. And so when I have the response, I have the capacity not to fall into this place. So in the nature, we are very reactive, but on the mental state, we understand that it's better to be more responsive than reactive. And the question is why we are so reactive? Yeah? Because if I'm so reactive, I can learn all the rules of the game, but it will not help me. Because I need to be in a place where I can be in response in order to use what I learned. So why am I so reactive? And the answer for that is basically in the field of tension. There is so much tension inside of me that I cannot hold it. So let's say if I imagine my body as a container, and let's say this is the size of my container, and I can fill this container in things. And whatever I add to this container, the container becomes more and more and more full. And this container can hold the tension that we have. So if I'm having more tension, I'm here, and then someone says something to me, and I'm over the top. When I'm over the top, I'm reacting, because the vessel is not big enough to hold all the tension that exists inside of it. And so if I'm here, and I get something inside, you see, I'm in the field of comfort. It's okay. I can still hold it. But if I'm over, so I'm exploding. And when I'm exploding is where I'm in a reaction. So basically, to understand the human experience, we basically need to understand two concepts. One is the vessel and the size of the vessel, and how much tension inside this vessel there is. And what I would say just here is that we can do things in order to make the vessel bigger, and we can do things in order to empty the tension in the vessel. And when we learn to navigate these two fields, this is where we actually improve quality of life. Quality of life is equal to the gap between the size of the vessel to how much tension there is inside of this. Because everything that goes inside this field is fine. I can handle it, I can be with it. So it's not that in order to have good life, I need to sit in the room and avoid any interaction of the world. No, I need to go outside, live life, and be in that field. And this field, I can do business, I can have relationship, I can raise kids, I can be in community, I can do everything. But even if I'm in this field, okay, no kids, no family, no hiding in the room, tension, stress, anxiety, all these phenomena are when we are over the top. And the last thing I will say about this topic that maybe is relevant is that we can elaborate how to make the vessel bigger or how to empty it. But what I want to say at this point, that the vessel is based on what I call the core human qualities, core human skills, such as patient, contentment, compassion, presence, acceptance. All of these qualities are the core human qualities, and all of them are like muscles, and they can be trained. So I can have more patience, I can have more presence, I can have more contentment, more acceptance, and it's training them that makes them bigger. So the size of the vessel is depends of how much training you have done to those muscles. Not necessarily in a specific practice. Sometimes life is training you to have a lot of patience, and circumstances train you to have more acceptance, and so on and so on. But sometimes you can go through proper training for those things. So there is different modalities that can help you to do this training. And the one interesting thing that I want to say about this, that you can give a talk, an intellectual conversation about presence of 2 hours. It doesn't mean that you're present. You can talk for 2 hours about acceptance. It doesn't mean that you have acceptance. You can talk 3 hours about patient. It doesn't mean that you have patient, because patient, acceptance, contentment, all of they are not in the intellectual side of the brain. Yes, it's not the intellect that makes patient grow. It's another thing. So where is patient? Where is acceptance? Where is it? It's not in the intellect. It's somewhere else. And training those things and understanding where they are, those can be very critical to us improving quality of life. And if I connect it to what can we talk about, maybe your challenge is in business, but your challenge is in patient. Maybe your challenge is in relationship, but your challenge is with expectations and acceptance. So it's not that you need to study how to be in relationship, it's that you need to work on your acceptance, or you need to work on your patient, or your presence, or your vessel is too small. So whenever you go into the relationship field and your partner says something, automatically you overflowed, and so you prefer to avoid them all day. And so it's not the relationship, it's not the business, it's something in the core skills that we have that we are not training in the right way. Another concept that I'm using a lot to understand this is I call it the human technology. So all humans have the same human technology: nose, mouth, ears, liver, kidney, heart, muscles, thoughts, emotions, memories, tension, core human skills, patient, compassion, presence, and so on and so on. And so if you don't understand the human architecture, don't be surprised if you don't enjoy the user experience, because you are the user of this amazing system, amazing technology. And because we don't understand how it operates, we use it in the wrong way. It's like, in a way, I believe that most of us, we know to use the phone better than we know how to use this technology. And so if something is not functioning and we are not knowing what to do with it, it's very difficult to operate it. It's like I can ask you the question like, what are emotions? What is the purpose of this system to have emotions? Why do we need emotions? It's troubling, it's disturbing, it's annoying, let's take it out. We don't need this in the system. But somehow the architecture of this system includes emotions. Maybe it serves some purpose. We're having thoughts, sometimes overthinking, a lot of thinking. Why do we need thinking? Let's cancel this feature. We don't need thinking. Without thoughts and emotions, this will be an amazing life. Yeah, but we have them. And so what is the function of them? Maybe if I understand what are emotions, I will be able to navigate emotions in a better way. Maybe emotions is a signals that come to show me something and I don't know what the signal means. It's like you're driving the car and you don't know what the lights mean or the signs in the street. So understanding this is basically a good way to improve quality of life. And again, we can use it in philosophical aspects. We can just sit and talk about it, or we can see a challenge and find where is the challenge is this human architecture, and through the knowledge of that system, we can understand how to ease on the suffering through the perspective of the human architecture. Let's call it like this. So this can also help us. So, yeah. Where to start the research, the study, because we can sit and talk, and probably I have some smart things to say, but the study needs to start in usually in a place that you can really see what's going on, what's happening with you. Now, when you sit in the room and you're trying to figure out what's happening with you, this is sometimes ruminating in the mind, and you will not really see what's happening. So I usually I will ask people to explore the option to try to practice something that will help them to start to see what's going on, and that can help them a lot going forward. And one of the things that I do with people or invite people to do is invite them to practice inner walk, which I will explain what it means, for 3 days, one after another, every day for 1 hour. So we practice something every day for 1 hour, and this practice helps us to learn to see what the system is doing and how it's behaving, and to little bit explore and feel some things from the inside and not just from the intellectual mind. And the practice of inner walk, essentially, it's a very simple practice. You basically walk back and forth between kind of two obstacles, two walls, a distance of 15 meters. And when you're walking, you allow your mind to do what it wants. So you're just walking and you let your mind to talk. And if you ask yourself like, okay, but what am I doing here? Well, you come just to listen. Your mind will talk. I promise you, don't worry. You walk for 1 hour, your mind will talk. Will talk. And you are only there to walk and to listen. So you're just walking and listening. And I know that at this moment when you're hearing me inviting you to do this thing, it might getting a little bit scary. Me being with my mind is very dangerous. I cannot allow my mind to talk. I'm afraid of my own thoughts and all of these things. But let's start with 2 things to say about it. Anyway, you are inside your mind and your own thoughts all day long. So it's not going to be different if you walk or you sit somewhere. Anyway, you're going to be with your mind. And the second thing, the walking, this technique of the practice, is helping you to actually be with the things. And I will explain it in a different way. Let's say your container size is 50. And so everything that comes is very difficult. You're overloaded, yeah? When you're walking, you get plus a double 2 bonus, meaning that instead of 50, while you're walking, your container become 100. So the practice itself will help you to be with the things that going on inside of you while you're doing the practice. And doing this for 3 days, every day 1 hour, can put you in a very interesting experience that you will learn some things about you, and even your inner experience might even start to shift in some way. It doesn't require us to do a lot. It's very simple. And what I'm inviting you to look is that, okay, you walk 1 hour, but it's not interesting what happened while you were walking. That's, of course, you will see. But how are you going to be at the end of the day? Maybe the walk was a little bit activating, but then the rest of the day was quiet. And then you see it for 3 days, and you will see that every day is a different experience. And then you check yourself after 3 days and you see what's going on. And if you feel like that it can something you can do even before we meet, that's like an amazing thing for you, because you will already have an experience, you will already be able to see what's going on, and it will benefit you a lot. It can be a good shortcut. It's like it's a good shortcut. You do this and you learn a lot, and then we meet and we talk and we share. A lot of people ask me, what do I do? And maybe at this point I can say that I can be labeled as different things, but one way that I can say, I'm like the coach in the gym. I know all the accessories that there is in the gym, all the instruments, and I see that you want to run a marathon, so you need to work with this instrument, this device for 1 hour and this tool for 2 hours. And you want to do high jumps, okay, you need to go train there, and you need to. So I know all the instruments in the gym, and inner walk is like one example for this, but there is many, many, many instruments. Like some of the tools that say you're feeling very down, and no energy and no motivation, so you need fire. Okay, so there is tools for fire. You have too much fire, you cannot sit quiet, you are a hyper. Yeah, okay, we need to put some water on you. Okay, so there is tools from the water. You are very airy and in the head, and you cannot execute, but you have brilliant ideas. And okay, so you're in the air. Okay, or you're very stuck in the structure and you don't have inspiration. And okay, so you are too much in the ground. So there is different tools and instruments that we can use in different needs of the different people, and that's something that I can help. The other thing that I'm a good cheerleader. Go practice, go practice, go. And this is really good because we sometimes don't have the motivation to execute. So I'm a good cheerleader. So I'm a gym coach, I'm a good cheerleader. And also another way to look at this is like a general doctor in the emergency room. Everybody comes to the hospital and some general doctor meets them and understand you need to go chiropractic, you need EKG, you need another doctor. Yes, and so I'm quite good at this. So also I can help people to find the specific answers that they need at this moment for the challenge. But we need to remember it's a journey. So one time you need fire, and then you need to learn about air, and then you need to go to the gym. And so I'm quite good in doing this navigation between the different needs and where we are now, and to feel what is the next step and how to continue the research. And this is something that I can be really useful. There is many challenges in life, and there is many ways you can deal with your challenges. Some of the ways to deal with the challenge is to maybe fix this challenge, but we create a different challenge. And so we're moving the problem from one place to another. Another way is to delay the challenge for tomorrow. Let's say drinking alcohol. Yeah, okay, now I don't feel it. Tomorrow there is, yeah. Another challenge can be that one friend does not have enough food, and so I take from one person the food and give it to another person. So now another person have the problem. We're just moving the problem from one place to another. And some of the ways that we can do is really solving or working with the challenge from the core, and moving the challenge or learning how not to be in this challenge anymore. And I think that we need to learn to navigate between all solutions. Okay? Sometime going to the doctor and getting pills that help me to deal with anxiety, this is what I need now. But I also understand that the source of the anxiety will stay there. So I will still need to work with the source of the anxiety. So it's not mean that the pills are not good. It means that the pills are good for one thing, which is basically not feeling the anxiety now. Now, some of the solutions that I have to do is to move the challenge to another place because I don't have room to deal with the challenge. So I need to move it away. But I also remember that it will come back. Yeah? And sometimes I can do like a deep inner journey and find where is the challenge and resolve it. Find the resolution at the core. We need to navigate between all the things. And sometimes, it seems like alcohol is a bad solution. I don't know. For some people it works. I don't know. But maybe we need to look also about what to do in the next day and how to not needing the alcohol. And having and drinking wine once in a while, it's an amazing thing. But when wine becomes a solution for life, maybe it's become a problem by itself. So is learning to navigate all of those things. Talking with me will not solve any problem. You will only find directions that you need to go to apply in your life in order to work with the challenge that you have. So let's say you are in depression, you don't have motivation. Talking with me will give you maybe an initial motivation to do other things that will actually get you out of there. So yeah, I'm a good cheerleader. I can give the motivation to do the action. But if you're not going to follow up, no, it will not work. It will not work. There is some game that we play together. You need to invest something in the game, and I'm investing something in the game. I enjoy doing my investment. I like doing it. There is nothing more that I enjoy in life in doing this interaction with people and exchanges about how to improve their quality of life. I really like it. But if you're not going to invest something from your side, let's say I can multiply your energy by 5, but 0 multiply 5 is 0. But if you put 1, so you get 5. If you put 2, you get 10. If you put 5, you get 25. I can multiply by 5, but I need to have something to multiply. And so it requires a little bit of energy that comes from both sides. I will say that if you look deep down into your life and what you know about life and what you learn about life, you will see that most of what you know, you learned from your own experience. If it's walking, what our colors are, what is red, what is green, what is hot, what is cold, what is salty, what is... most of what you know about life, you learn from experience. And somehow in life, we have fallen into the trap of information. And we've become to believe that what we know is coming from information, but actually what we know is coming from experience. And because we fall into the trap of information, we're thinking that we can change our life through getting more information. So I will talk with him, and we'll talk with him, and we'll read a book, and talk with ChatGPT, and this, and they will tell me all the answers, and now I will have a good life. And you will see that the more you do it, you actually suffer more. Because you don't gain true knowledge from intellect, you gain the true knowledge from experience. So if your challenge is, let's say, impatient, and you're nervous all the time, you can gain as much knowledge as you want, but you need to practice patience in some modality. And maybe you cannot do the hardest modality, but maybe you can easy level 1 and level 2, and in every practice there is levels. I can show you every practice and give you level 1 and level 2 and level 5. So you can easily gradually grow the skills that you need, but you need to do it through some experience. It will not happen in the knowledge. The knowledge will give you the motivation to go to do the experience. That's the way it works. So you do need some knowledge, but it's not based on knowledge. I have this saying that of every 3 hours of information, you need 97 hours of practice. And if you keep this ratio, you will have a very good progress. But when you think about it, 97 hours of practice is not so little. So only 3 hours of information is a lot of information. Okay, I need to wrap it.